Thank you. I'm Dr. David Kios, the Managing Director, Kenya Animal Genetic Resource Center. We call it KAGRC in short.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Roslyn Wambogo. I'm the Director of Extension Services. Thank you.
Dr. We are starting with you. Just give us a short review of this center. When did it start? What is it involved in?
Thank you. Kenya Animal Genetic Resource Center, formerly Central Artificial Insemination Station, KAIS, was formed in 1946, and the business was to help the farmers improve their cattle. Initially, it had only 4 bulls, mainly Frisian and Jersey and Kansi. Later on, we added more bulls, and up to now we have 130 bulls. The business of KAGRC is to produce semen that is used by farmers to improve their livestock for breeding purposes. And we produce about 1.1 million doses of semen every year. You see, this center, when the European farmers came into Kenya, they realized the issues of livestock diseases, especially the breeding diseases that are transmitted during normal mating by the bulls and cows. And they realized that it's difficult to have a bull breeding many cows because of diseases. So they decided to use AI. So this basically was for the white settlers farmer. But when we gained independence, it was realized that also African farmers need quality semen, and hence the need to expand the number of bulls from the 4 to 100 that we have now. Let me say that when it began in 1946, it started as room temperature semen. The room temperature semen is semen that you use within 7 days. If it is not used, you discard. But in the 1960s, technology changed into frozen semen. Frozen semen is semen that is prepared and frozen using liquid nitrogen up to negative 196 degrees centigrade. That semen will live forever. As long as they're under liquid nitrogen, it can stay for many, many years, outliving even the human beings. And that is why we have some of the semen which were collected in the 60s. We still have a few of that semen. Now, the government of Kenya, immediately after independence, realized that many farmers need this improvement of their cows, and they needed the semen. But because there were no structures to take the semen to farmers, the government formed a department within the ministry called Kenya National AI Service, which had AI technicians with those Suzuki vehicles you saw in the villages. And they were assigned duties all over the country to do inseminations, where farmers will take their animals to the crash, and they will be inseminated in those crashes. That continued, and the government subsidized the services by the farmer paying only 1 shilling for 3 services. And that is why uptake of AI began in this country. By 1990s, or by 1990, there was change in policy again. The structural adjustment programs came in through the IMF and so forth. The government decided to privatize AI services. And when they privatized AI services, the farmer had to pay for the services. So it became a little bit tricky because they could not keep those AI technicians going around with Suzukis to inseminate the cows. So the private sector came into play. And KAIS, which is now KAGRC, was key in producing the semen and passing to the private sector. Hence the reason why we began partnership with the private sector through what we call appointment of agents. We have right now over 70 agents distributed all over this country, and their business is to take semen closer to the farmer. Now, also, the government was able to train AI technicians through IT, that is Animal Health and Industry Training Institutes. There are 3 in the country. They trained AI technicians, and we have now close to 2,000 AI technicians in Kenya inseminating cows all over this country. These inseminators buy semen from the agents, and KAGRC supply the agents, so that at any given time, a farmer will always be having access to inseminations at any given time in any part of this country. So that is what we are doing now. But when the pollution came in, counties also realized that not all farmers were able to buy the semen from the AI technicians and agents. So KAGRC partnered with these devolved units, that is the counties, and currently we are partnering with 30 of them. We supply them with semen, and they have their AI technicians who are now helping farmers with subsidized AI, especially the small-scale farmers who cannot afford the semen. And we've seen the number of insemination in this country has increased because of the partnership between the counties, KAGRC, and the agents. And we are seeing a lot of farmers taking up the technology.
In a year, we can produce up to 1.1 million doses of semen. And in terms of liquid nitrogen, we are able to produce over 350 liters annually. Currently, the center has installations across the country. We have one in Kirinyaga, one based at headquarters as well, Eldoret and Sotik. And we are able to ensure that our agents are able to access our products with a lot of ease. Because you find that at any one time, each one of them is about 20 kilometers radius from the plant. So that also lowers the cost of AI services because of the close proximity. And KAGRC has always taken lead in ensuring that we take our products closer to the farmers and the AI providers in the spirit of the Constitution 2010.
I just want to get a clarification. Is it 350 liters or?
350,000 liters annually.
Okay. Cool.
Find that there are gaps, there are knowledge gaps in the field. You find that the farmers are not able to make sound breeding decisions, one being because they are not able to interpret the catalog. Find that they are very good genetics. And with the kind of experience we have from KAGRC dated 1946, we can be sure that we are competing with the very best internationally. So even the genetics are of superior quality, but you still find that animals are not coming on heat because there are issues in terms of feeding. Either you find that the feeds that are available in the field are probably the quality is wanting, or probably the quantities are also an issue. And sometimes you find that there are farmers who want also to do their own rations, but the knowledge of how to do it best is also a big challenge. So there is need for extension in terms of feeding. Again, you find that even those who get good calves, they may not reach weaning weight or even become mature cows that will be productive. So you find that they end up dying before they get to the weaning weight, and that's a loss. And indeed, at the moment, you find that the country has a shortage even of quality heifers to supply the national herd, the population, and even to the region.
There is also the socio-cultural aspects. There are some farming communities that believe that when you use AI, you are denying the cows their rights. It's quite a lot you get in some cultures. Yeah, when you want to introduce the AI, like the Maasai, when we were introducing AI, they were resisting because they think that you are interfering with nature. and that it's important to leave the animals to do their own things naturally. But those are some of the challenges, as you said. Our semen we sell at 200 shillings, Kenya shillings, which is very, very affordable. But unfortunately, the other players in between, our agents sell at 250 shillings. But AI technician is now where the problem, because they are not controlled very, very well. So you realize that these AI technicians can sell the semen at the price of their choice, although we keep them guidelines that they sell this semen to the farmer at between 500 shillings to 1,000 shillings. Sometimes they even charge up to 2,000 shillings, which is unfair to the farmer. Others is affordable. That is why we went for partnership with the counties. With the counties, they are controlling and selling at 400 shillings to the farmer. And that is why many small-scale farmers are now taking up this AI. And those are the challenges that we really face, especially on cold chain. And the impact of COVID has really been great, especially for us and the farmer. One, we have our extension services, whereby we have been using workshops, we have been doing field demonstrations and so forth with the farmers. With the ban on all those, we are no longer being able to reach out to the farmers. So our outreach has been curtailed by COVID. So most of the farmers have been left on their own, because of COVID-19. We have tried preaching with the virtual way, using Zoom, WebEx and all that. But unfortunately, it's only the elite farmers who are having smartphones who can be reached. But that local farmer does not have a smartphone. So the only way you can reach is SMS. But sometimes this SMS, you don't know, because in Kenya we are 44 tribes now. So now which language do you use? Because most of them understand their own local language. So it becomes a challenge in terms of outreach. The other issue, of course, as I had said, is lack of enough liquid nitrogen, where we are getting backup are now producing purely oxygen and rarely liquid nitrogen. So that's another challenge we have. The other challenge is money in the pockets of the farmers. These farmers have been affected by COVID-19. They are not having money in their pockets. And they would rather skip AI to the next, maybe the next circle or the other circle, depending on if they'll get some money. Whenever they get money, they think of food first and then AI later. So that has been a challenge. Otherwise, before COVID came in, nobody wanted the animals to skip to the next level. And they were interested in our field days and workshops because they wanted to learn new knowledge, know the new bulls and so forth. But now we have challenges because of COVID.
Well, to begin with, when I look at the entire value chain, and for us now we are the point of the input suppliers. When you go into issues of now the distributors, it provides an opportunity for agencies like the ones we've contracted. These are professionals who are running their own agrovets or vet pharmacies. So in addition to selling other agrochemical supplies, they're also able to disseminate the genetics to the nearby communities while also making some money for them, because now the profit motivation will be what is driving them to be able to distribute the genetics. Again, you find that when it comes to extension, it provides an opportunity to create digital platforms, more so for the youth. And you see now we are becoming more tech savvy. That provides a great opportunity for the youth to disseminate information for better improved livestock production and productivity for this country and beyond. You also find that for those that are in the actual production, some of the cows that are born may not be retained as replacement stock, and the extras can be sold to other farmers who may want to buy. And previously we've also had countries looking up to Kenya to also purchase high quality breeds from us Kenya has always been viewed as a dairy center of excellence by other countries in the region, and they rely heavily on us in providing quality genetics. So even people in import and export can also, and the clearing agents, they also come in. Recently we exported semen to Rwanda, and we used several actors to ensure that the semen was successfully distributed. In addition to improving the livestock productivity in this country, we also the dairy can also earn foreign exchange for this country, through the import and export trade. Again, you find that lately more in the informal areas and settlements, you find that there is a lot of milk ATMs. So those are very good opportunities for the youth to tap into the dairy. So there is sufficient room for everyone to actually tap into the dairy value chain, make a bit of money while also ensuring that there is improved productivity. The processors themselves as well. You find that the milk that is not utilized at the farm level can also be bulked and taken for value addition, be it pasteurization or making those other dairy products. And it also adds value in terms of ensuring that the shelf life is also prolonged. Previously we didn't have most of the people doing powder milk. Now we are even having those interventions. It creates opportunities for research and development. And at the same time, we continue validating the technology for enhanced and continued dairy productivity.
We are key in dissemination of technologies, and as a state corporation, it's an important tool that we have to disseminate. Embryo transfer is a very, very critical technology. It means that you are giving farmers upgraded animal, pure breed animal that can produce many, many liters of milk just within 9 months. And that is why this technology we have introduced as KAGRC. We've been given money by the government, to be specific, 600 million for the next 3 years to roll out this technology. So very, very soon, instead of the farmer using the normal semen for AI, we'll be putting in a fertilized egg of 7 days into the womb of those cows, and they'll produce pedigree animals.
Okay, let's look at essentially other markets, because as already discussed, we are going beyond the Kenyan market. The importance of that, I think, as a center of genetics, maybe just a point from the CEO. And then two, beyond dairy, what are the other animal kind of genetics are you looking at now and into the future?
Thank you, Francis. Yes, it is important that we look out of the box. And as I had said earlier, we've been in this business for over 75 years now. And we started with only cattle, but we have now brought in goats. We have now semen for goats, dairy goats, and goats for meat. We have semen for that. We realize that in some areas, they rely heavily on goats to get milk. But unfortunately, they are milking up a cup, sometimes a cup of milk. But the semen we are producing at KAGRC for goats has the potential of producing up to 7 liters of milk per day. So if we cross those which are producing a cup of milk with this one producing 7 liters of milk, that farmer is assured of a dairy goat producing more than 4 liters of milk per day. That is a transition that will ensure that our farmers, especially in nasal areas, will not suffer because of lack of protein, lack of milk, because these dairy goats are resilient. We are crossing the ones that are resilient with the ones that are producing milk. So these farmers will make more money. At the same time, dairy milk, goat milk is very expensive. You can't get goat milk at less than 100 shillings a liter. So if you get 4 liters per dairy goat. That is clean 400 shillings in the pockets of a farmer. And that dairy goat eats only 1/5 of food for a cow. So that's where we are going. Number 2, we are also introducing pigs, pig AI. Yeah, nguruwe. We want our pigs to grow faster. You realize that the pigs that we have currently grow so slowly, eating so much, and there's little earnings out of them when they are slaughtered. But we have introduced new genes. They grow rapidly so that they take only 30% of the time these other ones are growing. These other ones will grow up to 1 year. But by 5 months, whatever we have brought in will be ready for market. So this one will also revolutionize the farmers, especially the youth and women, because it's the youth and women who keep pigs. It's the youth and women who keep dairy goats. So that's why we are targeting that group so that they can have more earnings. We are also looking at improved kienyeji chicken. That is our indigenous chicken. For a long time, most of the indigenous chicken, they grow for a long period of time before laying. But the new genes brought in allows that indigenous chicken, just like the other commercial chicken, to lay eggs early and lay those eggs for a long time, giving us up to 220 to 250 eggs in a year. So that is where we are. Those are the new genes and the new lines we are introducing for the farmers in this country. We realize that these farmers suffer a lot because if you have a chicken that will only lay 20 eggs and start brooding on the 20 eggs and you wanted more eggs to sell, then you are not in business. But if we give you a chicken that can do up to 220 eggs, you are in business. You will make money. Those are the new breeds and the new species we are bringing on board to help the farmer.
We normally have our semen production laboratory. That's our factory where now we collect the semen, process it in accordance to internationally set standards. I must say that KAGRC is ISO certified, so we prescribe to the international standards. So even the semen that we produce and distribute, it is of the utmost standards. And once the semen has been produced, and there is a quality assurance team that regularly checks at every stage of production to ensure that it meets the basic requirements for any semen that can go even outside the country. Once the semen has been processed and the quality assurance team has cleared it, it goes to the germplasm preservation unit where we had visited, and there it is ready for dispatch to the farming communities or through our distribution network, be it through the substations and the agents. So once the semen is, the customer orders the semen, the orders normally come through the sales office, and after processing, the semen is packed according to the agent's requirements. And there is a lot of consultation that goes on. In the event that one bull is not available, we always seek advice on what to replace with. We are a listening institution, so we tend to ensure that our customer is king. And there are those customers that we serve through our courier service, the ones that we are not able to reach out through our designated scheduled delivery routes. We normally have one circuit through the Mount Kenya route, at least once a month. And in the Rift Valley region, we also have another circuit that we normally conduct, ensuring that all the inseminators and the agents are on time. They know exactly when will be at the agent's place, and they're able to get their supplies in good time. That's in a nutshell how we go about it.
Initially, when we were in school, we used to know that dairy is kept in Mount Kenya region and Rift Valley as the areas where you get the dairy. But today, you will get dairy in Siaya, you will get dairy in Kilifi, you will even get dairy in Marsabit, in Turkana. The it is the realization that most of the animals get adapted, not necessarily pure breeds. You know, initially we were in this pure breeding of the 4 breeds, Frisian, Asher, Guernsey, Jersey. But we realized that those farmers can keep a crossbreed, a composite. And that is why as KAGRC we have developed what we call Magic 50, which we'll show you. Magic 50 is 50% indigenous and 50% exotic. That is magic. It can produce 20 liters of milk in Kilifi. It can produce 20 liters of milk per day in Turkana, using very, very minimal resources. In most cases, using the rubbish that is found in that area with little supplementation, and can survive very, very well the harsh conditions. So we realize as KAGRC that we can no longer serve those areas that were designated, but we need to go out to even other areas that have never known and experienced dairy. In the next 10 years, we are looking at this country exporting milk to our neighboring countries. For example, the DRC, they import powder milk from Europe. Burundi, where I was last week, 50% of their milk is powder milk imported from Europe. While this country can only produce enough with their own, but we have the potential to produce more than what we consume and even sell to our neighbors. They don't need to go all the way to Europe. And that's our plan, to make sure that farmers get the right breeds to produce the right amounts of milk so that we can look for export market. Unfortunately, you can't look for export market if you can't supply. If your supplies are erratic, nobody will be interested, because you may supply this month, next month you have no milk. So we want to stabilize to make sure that we have enough milk. So that is our interest here, to produce good breeds for farmers to produce enough milk. The other thing is that as KAGRC, we are looking at those breeds that have been neglected, as you've seen. We have brought on board from 2017, that has been our work. We brought on board the goats. It had totally been neglected, and farmers had begun inbreeding, producing less than a liter of milk per day. But now we are improving on that. Indigenous chicken is our other legacy. That farmer who is suffering because of the poor growth rates, we have just come in as KAGRC to improve on those growth rates, to make sure that the chicken can produce eggs on time and reach the production age faster, less than a half of what it is currently. We are also looking at that chicken for meat, the indigenous one. Remember, we have 27 million indigenous chicken in this country, and I think only 4 million exotic chicken. So the indigenous chicken sector has been neglected, and that's why we are coming as KAGRC to bring in technology, both normal production of day-old and even also supply of semen for the breeders of indigenous chicken. So we are coming to that. The other issue is pigs in this country. If you look at developed countries, the cheapest meat in the market is from pigs because of faster growth rate. But because of poor breeds and inbreeding here, our pigs take long. So in fact, the most expensive meat in the market is pork. Pork is very expensive because of that poor growth rate. As KAGRC, we want to reverse that, so that in the next few years, pork is eaten everywhere very, very cheap, and chicken, so that it reduces the pressure on the beef animals. Currently, we can't export the meat from beef animals the way we were doing in the 60s and 70s, because even if we control the disease, it is not enough. And that is why a lot of meat for beef animals is coming from even outside Kenya, from Tanzania, from Somalia, from Ethiopia, because we don't have enough, and we are not eating enough of chicken and pork because they are very, very expensive. That's also what we want to improve as KAGRC. Number two is the other thing is the use of technology, as we had already discussed. Embryo transfer is key in ensuring that you get breeds that produce milk quickly. For example, that indigenous cow in the village, especially those areas that have not practiced AI since independence, that indigenous cow is only producing 3 to 4 liters of milk, eating a lot and wasting farmers' resources and time. Instead of using the normal AI, we introduce embryo. An embryo introduced, that cow will be surrogate, will take that embryo to term, produce a nice calf that will produce even 30 to 40 liters of milk in that environment. And this calf will benefit from the resistance of the cow that has been passed to it. But it will not determine the genes because the genes are already predetermined outside. In embryo transfer, you superpopulate very good cows and inseminate them with very good semen, harvest the embryos at 7 days. So this other one will only be surrogate, will be carrying that. So that's the other area that we really want to emphasize, so that this farmer can get in the best cattle, the best goats, the best pigs, the best indigenous chicken through technology. The other day, we were also looking at what can we do for the donkey farmers. The Chinese want donkey meat. We don't have donkeys in Kenya. If we open the donkey market, the donkeys will be cleared in less than a year. So as KAGRC, we are looking at this opportunity. Can we breed donkeys that can grow faster and within a short time reach market weight? So that now if there is demand from other corners, not only China, we can supply without the need to regulate and ensure that we try to conserve and take advantage of export income. So those are the areas we are looking at as KAGRC, and hopefully in the next 10 years we'll have realized some of those opportunities and be able to take it to the farmer, or the farmer to be able to also earn from technology. Yeah, a lot of farmers sometimes take time to pick technology. Sometimes they might think even there's GMO, but we are telling them this is not GMO. This is just ordinary way of breeding to be able to get better genes into their animals to be able to produce more.
We are having solitary housing where each animal is housed on its own, in its own paddock. You find that the animal also has its own bullpen, whereby during the extreme weather elements, like when it's raining or hot, it can also go inside and get housed. And the field allows the animal to graze while at the same time exercising. But in the years to come, we are likely to shift into an enclosed kind of housing system, where there is a more or less 100% mechanization, even in terms of the feeding and management of the animals. But for now, we still have the older setup that was there. We give hay. We are also supplementing the animals in terms of minerals, to ensure that the breeding bulls get the necessary micronutrients necessary for proper semen production, while at the same time we are also providing a concentrate feed, which is custom made for breeding bulls. So with that, that's why you can even see how beautiful these bulls look. They look wonderful. Yes. As
you said, we would like to modernize this place to make sure that we have proper disease control. You know, when this place was, when they started keeping bulls in this place, the neighborhood were bushes. But with the pressure of urbanization and so forth, we are seeing a lot of people now coming in, especially on all corners of KAGRC. Lucky enough, we have some institutions around us, like the university, which has kept them at least keeping us some distance, but you never know in the future. And because of urbanization, we are now looking at having these animals slightly together on a roof so that we avoid these birds and so forth. Probably they might bring diseases from other areas, pick from other areas and bring in diseases, unlike 70 years ago. The other thing is that with modernization, we are looking at markets beyond Kenya. Yeah, as you said already, we exported to Rwanda, we have exported to Uganda, we have exported to Zimbabwe, we have exported to Botswana, to Ghana, Nigeria, and very, very soon next week we have semen going to Burundi. So we are looking at also assisting the African farmers through export to those African countries. And it's key that we meet the standards. And to meet the standards is to ensure that we have greater biosecurity so that anybody coming here can be able to confirm that this is biosecure area. And as we think of those markets, we are thinking also of going beyond Africa. For example, currently, Boran animals are exported to America, but not by Kenyans, by South Africans. They buy from Kenya, and because the Americans trust South Africans, they buy from Kenya, take to South Africa, after a few months to the US and so forth. So with good biosecurity, we'll be able to also look at markets beyond Africa. And that is something very, very critical. The other thing that we are looking at is uptake by our farmers. Unfortunately, despite this technology being there for the last 75 years, only 40% of Kenyan dairy farmers are using the technology. 60% are still using the bull. You will see sometimes, because of the fact that most of the farmers are not feeding the animals well, and they don't keep the animals well, they also don't care about AI. So they use a bull, and they use a bull that they pick anywhere. So you realize sometimes the bull they have used, instead of increasing the milk in the offspring, actually reduces the milk. So you realize those farmers who have not used this technology have become more poorer and poorer and poorer because of less milk production. But those farmers who have used this technology are smiling all the way to the bank because of more and more milk. We are looking at pushing that together with the counties, because they are now the ones who have been given the mandate on extension. We are pushing together with the counties to ensure that we reach up to 80% of the farmers. If you look at Holland adopted this technology later than Kenya. But Holland are using this technology at 100%, producing so much milk and even exporting border milk to Africa, while Kenya adopted this technology early. So that means if we can convince that farmer to adopt, we are far. If you look at Kiambu, for example, county, they are using this technology 100%. The milk Kiambu county produces in this country, you can combine several other counties to be able to reach the amounts produced by Kiambu. Kiambu is a small county with small order. These animals are kept inside rooms adjacent to the owner's house. And if you look at, they don't have enough grazing area, but they produce probably the bulk of milk in Kenya. And because they use this technology 100%. And that's why we are telling those other farmers, please, in Kenya, let's embrace the technology. In Africa, let's embrace the technology. In fact, Africa can feed other countries because they have cheaper production systems and can feed even the whole world with milk if they embrace technology. And that is my parting shot with farmers. Let's take up the technology. It is critical for food security. Thank you.